Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I have a broad array of topics that I want to tackle today. So I want the main topic of today's video to be about the difference between labeling someone as an autistic person compared to labeling them as someone with autism, as well as also want to challenge the idea of referring to someone as low or high functioning autistic or non-autistic. These are they're two different terms and they're two different ways of viewing things, but I think that we can tackle them both together, and I think they cause, in a way, not an issue now, but in the future I think that these topics will be discussed quite heavily in the future. So I thought, let's get into it today and get ahead of the curve. So before we get into everything, I want to use myself as an example. For starters, I would have a few years ago been labeling myself as a high functioning autistic person. However, I believe this way of expressing yourself can actually lead to some negative side effects, which may not be big in the grand scheme of things. However, I believe it has a really big impact on more than just me and the people that hear that word. When we tell someone we are an autistic person, what we are doing is creating an image in the person's head where we are less of an individual or more of an object whose actions are controlled by a mysterious force called autism. The reason why it is a better alternative to call yourself a person with autism is because we are showing our knowledge of our disability, but at the same time we are able to show that our autism doesn't fully control every part of us and ourselves and our lives. Some time ago, if I would have heard this, I would have understood what I just said, but at the same time I would have thought to myself, I don't care, what others think of me. And I do believe that, having the idea that we shouldn't worry about how others view us is a good idea. We shouldn't be always worried and fearful for other people's opinions. But when I thought about this and reflected on it now with an older age mindset, I do believe that we can actually affect more than just ourselves in this scenario. So this can start to have a much greater negative effect on other people when we use the terms high functioning and low functioning. When people refer to by these terms, what is happening is much bigger, because now we have a situation where these people are now put in a competition or lottery style contest, where if you are unfortunate enough, you can be labeled as a low functioning person. This then changes the perception, where the person is now going to be most likely have additional challenges due to their label being so overbearing. They might not get a chance to show their full capabilities. Now, I just want to say a few sentences that I generally do feel are like gross and disgusting to kind of say. I'm only using it as an example piece. I would never personally use this in modern terms, referring to my friends, my family, students, co-workers, anyone, but I'm going to use the worst example to really demonstrate my point of why these terms should kind of be moved away. I hope I make a good visual, so let me know. Application 1. So in this scenario, you are a manager. I want you to pretend right now you're a manager at a business, whatever company you want. You're at the blank company. And at this company, you have 2 applications from 2 different people. And I want you to just honestly, in the back of your head, think, who do you like more and why? So your first application is Todd. This is a made-up example, by the way. When looking at his application, you find out he is a high-functioning autistic person, which meets all the requirements of the job. Your second application is Jessica. When looking through this application, you find out she is a low-functioning autistic person who meets all the requirements of this job. Now that you've seen these applications, it's time for you to decide, and this is where the problem is. When we label people, all we tend to do is listen to the label, and we may not read into their personality, and we might not actually see them as a person, but actually as a statistic, as a number. This is why I wanted to make this video, to show you we need to make some change to the way that we refer to people. I work in the education industry, and during my time, not very long, I've had discussions around this topic, and I've seen the impact it makes on people, their friends, their families, and even their communities. Because when people tell you that their neighbors' kids have low functioning autism, those kids have just lost a battle they didn't even know they were a part of and don't even get a say in. And It's just, you know, a gross way to refer to someone as. So what's the alternative? As an educator, I've had a lot of chats around this topic, and I've sent some data and my opinions to feedback and a think tank. And I was given an alternative way to help identify people's disabilities, including my own, without pushing them down or labeling them as much. I now refer to people with disabilities and how it affects them by calling them by their name, followed by high or low support needs. In life, everyone requires some level of help and support in their life, and by using these terms, it allows a person to expand upon themselves and now don't sound like a statistic to be categorized, but instead a simple person, you or me, who at times requires varying levels of support. We're pulling the human back into the human. To put everything together, I want to go over the scenario from earlier one last time. I'm going to make a few changes using my new way of definitions to see if we can come with a more positive outlet and have a better view of our applications. So to start us off, let's go through our applications again. First off, we have Todd again. When looking through this application, you realize Todd has autism and requires low support needs, and he also meets all the requirements of his job. Your second application is Jessica, and when looking through her application, you realize Jessica has autism and a higher level of support needs, but she also meets all the requirements of the job. After reframing these applications, you may have had a better image and a better mental image of what these two individuals and the levels of support required to assist them if you choose to employ them. So to conclude this video, I want to just rephrase and remind everyone that some of the things I said today might become very outdated or, you know, a bit irrelevant. I don't know how this video is going to look in the next few years and reflecting back on it. However, I just see a few issues currently in the cultural sense when we're talking about fellow autistic people such as myself. And I really just wanted to get my word out there and let anyone know who is interested and who watches my content, who wants to know what is a good and a bad way to refer to someone with an, you know, autistic diagnosis, or whether higher or lower level set of support needs, a nicer way to view them that doesn't make them seem like someone else that they're not and seem like a statistic, a grid on a sheet. So yeah, whatever you think, I really would love to hear some feedback in the comment section if I get any. It's a topic that, you know, I'm one voice in, and I would love to hear a lot more because everyone else's opinion really does matter in this growing field of disability and diversity. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Thank you.